Welcome aboard, everybody, and welcome to another episode here of TECSpertZ, episode 18. Back in action here with my usual guests, Markayla, Max, and Brennan. Max back here on the episode after last week. It's all good. We're ready to go back in action. We have a lot to talk about today. First off, Super Bowl 56 in the books. We have a final score here. We talked about it on the show prediction-wise. Rams win this one 23-20 final score, in which was a pretty clean game, I would say, for the most part. Pretty quiet game. I thought it might have been more of a offensive show all around. It was not that. Defense played a key part on both sides. The refs were pretty clean up until we can kind of make that conversation here the last few minutes of the game. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good game out in Los Angeles. Rams win this one. Overall better team. Joe Shiesty and the Bengals that were riding that high horse just fall a little short. And you can kind of just see the pieces. Obviously, the offensive line hurting them a little bit there with that Rams defensive front. Running after him like no tomorrow. Anyway, so let's get right on into it, and let's start the discussion. What do you got?
Yeah, like you said, it was a pretty clean game, pretty cut and dry. I feel like we saw everything that we needed to on paper. The one thing that we were discussing about the Bengals is that they needed to bring that defensive presence, and I feel like they brought it through the first three quarters, and they did exactly what they needed to do. The second problem that we had with the Bengals was their offensive line, and they weren't there, just like we expected them not to be there. Joe Burrow got hit, or got sacked like, what,
Seven times.
Seven times in total, and was
Seven
pressured
times.
on every time he took a back step. So I think it was just a point of emphasis that the Bengals will have to look into during this offseason to bounce back next season.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, this game was it was a great game, but a little bit anticlimactic. It didn't feel like anything big took place. There were a couple big plays, but nothing that really wowed me. It was just a classic game of football where they're just throwing short passes, getting those good run plays going. But as you guys said, kind of what we expected. Aaron Donald dominated up front. They slide the center in protection. Whenever they didn't, Aaron Donald got a quarterback pressure. And then near the end of the game, when they finally started rushing Von Miller off the side, it was too much, and Joe Burrow couldn't get free of anything. The big turning point, in my opinion, was OBJ's injury.
Yeah.
When OBJ got injured early in the game, Stafford was able to move the ball downfield at will. He was able to throw it to OBJ. He was able to get it over in the cup when they were too busy covering OBJ because he had so many weapons available. But as soon as Beckham went out, the game kind of shifted.
Yeah.
And the Rams were unable to successfully move the ball at all. And that's when the Bengals took over. And then later on in the game, obviously, one good drive won it for the Los Angeles Rams, and came down a lot to penalties there in that final drive.
Yeah.
Moving them closer. They stopped them on two close plays in the red zone. Then a holding call or a PI call, I can't remember which, got them at the 1 yard line. They weren't going to stop them 4 straight plays at the one.
Yeah.
But also, Eli Apple got to play the ball.
Oh, well, he was getting burned all day. All game long.
I got to say, I think that ball, if he plays, is a pick six.
Well, hold on. Credit to this now. Cooper Kupp. I mean, we've talked about him. I mean,
game.
unbelievable season, unbelievable game. Offensive Player of the Year, Triple Crown winner in the NFL.
I saw today.
MVP
Cooper
in the
Kupp.
Super Bowl.
I saw today. Cooper Kupp, Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Right.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
The only other player to do that in an entire career,
No.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, the only player to do that in an entire career.
And he
Cooper Kupp did it in
one
season.
season. Right.
Wow.
And he kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a good year last year, but he was not Cooper Kupp.
He's a good story. Kid from Eastern Washington.
A zero-star recruit.
Who would have thought that?
I think the game it went how it was supposed to go. Yeah, it wasn't very exciting, like we said. I wasn't really nervous or excited till those very last plays of the game. I think that they definitely could have played better in the end. The Bengals definitely had it. They were going really fast at the end. I was like, if they get down there to the end zone, the Rams are still going to have time to score again. So, I mean, it happened how it happened. But like we said earlier, the Rams were expected to win. Over this season, they bought their win. They made the trades they needed to make to get a winning team. They have a few guys retiring this season, but I think the Bengals are going to be the team next season that we're going to have to watch out for. I'm not sure if the Rams are going to be able to transfer what they have this season into next season.
Well, and their payroll situation is a whole nother scenario. They have a lot of free agents coming off the books now, and we're going to see if they're going to be able to buckle them all down. I doubt that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But
one or two good draft picks from Cincinnati on the line, and
they are going to repeat and go back to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. I mean, they're a darn good team, and they're going to be
LA
good for a
might
while.
be good next year, but after that, they're going to
The AFC as a whole, is super talented, and we have
Yeah.
a bright future ahead in the NFL. 100%.
Hard to see. They're going to have to compete directly with Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo, Kansas City ain't going anywhere, so there's a lot of talent definitely in the NFL. So that is pretty much the Super Bowl talk. Like we said, Rams win it 23-20 final score over the Bengals, Super Bowl 56. I want to remind you all, TECSpertZ is sponsored by the Big Vape Theory and East Carolina University's Office of Undergraduate Research, and TECSpertZ is a collaboration between WZMB and the East Carolinian. Now let's get on to some ECU local things going on here with the sporting world, and let's talk about ECU men's basketball. Brandon, what do you got here?
Well, men's basketball is coming off of a loss to SMU, 66-80, right after they defeated Tulsa, 73-71. So now we're still sitting at 12-12. ECU is still doing its thing where they dominated the first half of the season, and then they're pretty much lackluster for the rest of it. Brandon Suggs has returned, and he helped us get that win over Tulsa. Against SMU, it really wasn't much of the same. But, I mean, this team is just, I feel like we're running in circles. We keep talking about the same things repeatedly with this basketball team, and it doesn't feel like it's going to change anytime soon unless they figure out a new way to put the ball in the bucket and stop the opponent from doing so. But we got South Florida coming up tomorrow, so hopefully that's an opportunity for another win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I feel like, we need to just get on a winning streak again, right? So we've kind of been down in the dumps, and we had that great record at home, and we've kind of not really done anything ever since. Obviously, we've been playing very bad basketball on the road. Now we kind of got to bounce back and start really progressing from here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It takes one game.
Yeah.
One game can completely change it. You got to just get yourself back in that winning mentality that they've been struggling to do.
And we've also talked about how players need to step up in the roles.
Yeah,
as well.
He didn't. Suggs is back now. He's got his role back, but they didn't step up.
Right.
So
It's-
hopefully he can make differences like he did in the beginning of the season. But
I mean, it's got to be next man up.
yeah,
Whether or not they can or they will, that's a whole different story. But it's got to be next man up. When your number is called, you got to be there to make a bucket for your team, and that's what they've been struggling to do as of late.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there with ECU men's basketball. On the flip side, women's basketball. Markayla, what do you have on the women's side of things?
They're not doing too good either. I think they're 10-14. They broke a 5-game losing streak against Wichita State. In overtime, it was a really exciting game, 161-59. Then they played Memphis on Sunday, won that by 30 points. Was definitely not expected to win, especially by that margin. So 68-30 after that game. Tanaya Thompson got two 29-point games in a row. She's really doing great. She, like we said earlier, she hit 1,000 points in 3 years, which is insane. She's AAC Player of the Week. And then we have Tyler Bennett, who leads the American Conference in blocks, and she's now number eight in all-time ECU for most blocks in a single season. So we have individually good players. They're coming together all right. They're not losing by huge margins right now. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Hopefully they can keep it up against Houston on Wednesday, but both teams are in the same place. So
Right. Same boat, I
Yeah.
suppose. Same boat on the court, on the basketball court. I'll send it over to Max now. What do we got here with ECU women's softball as well as lacrosse?
Perfect. So I'm going to jump into lacrosse first. So right now, ECU Lax had their first game on the road at Radford over the weekend. Came out with a 13-4 commanding victory.
Excellent.
So 1-0 on the year with first game win streak, win percentage of 1,000. I love to see it.
That's good.
Nicole Gar won AAC midfielder of the week for the fourth time in her career.
Wow.
She won it this week and the last week of last season.
Okay.
So fourth time in her career, she's doing extremely well. She already has over 100 points. This is her fifth year, super senior year. She's doing incredible. And ECU Lacrosse going to have a 2-game homestand before their 4-game away stand, starting on February 18th versus Winthrop, and then again on the 20th. So this weekend, 2 games for ECU Women's Lacrosse.
Very good.
On the softball side of things, we have they will actually be opening their season versus UNC on September 19th away before they get.
last season.
I was going to say,
Remember
wait a minute,
last
we are...
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys.
Wait a minute, I was like, yeah, well, September, wait a second, time out, it can't be.
I was
It's all
confused.
That's
I ain't
okay.
been looking at
Malfunction here.
That's
Just stick around.
malfunction.
We're having some technical difficulties here on the TECSpertZ
You know
Show,
what?
episode 18. It's all good. Do not worry about it. In
I was
the meantime,
wondering.
we're going to get that
Okay.
all worked out for you in stats. Max, are you ready to
Excuse me, you guys.
It's okay.
proceed?
Hey, I took one episode off, and I am not on. So they actually started their season February 11th versus Purdue with a 3-9 loss. Came back versus Georgetown and won 6-5, and then lost back-to-back games to Georgetown, then Purdue. and lost again to Coastal Carolina. I gotta even see who they're playing, guys. I see that they will be playing Colgate. Looks like they were coming up to play Colgate on February 18th. Struggling a little bit. They're 1-4 on the year so far. Not the start that they were looking for, but still a long season to go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential there. The team's young. The team's got potential. And they just got to figure out to put it together. Honestly, with the baseball in particular, it's okay to get those early losses. Because there's such a baseball, softball. There's such there's
longevity.
Longevity.
Yes.
You got to figure it out at the beginning, and if you can knock those out in the beginning process, that's what they're looking for. But a lot of potential going forward here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so there you go. We have a lot to talk about, and we've talked about a lot already. We've talked about men's basketball. We've dived over into women's basketball. We've talked about women's lacrosse and women's softball. Thank you. I says, wait a minute. There's one more. Now we're going to hop into men's baseball, in which they are going to be starting up their season this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, against Bryant here at home. Clark LeClaire at Lewis Field. So be sure to go out and support the Pirates as Bryant's coming to town. 4 o'clock start on Friday, 2 p.m. start on Saturday, 1 p.m. start on Sunday. From insider news here, my sources are saying we have a rotation announced potentially. It seems to be Carson Wisenhunt going to get the ball on Friday, with Garrett Saylor getting the ball Saturday, Jake Kuchman getting the ball on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Should be interesting, and we're looking forward to that game and the season to come for the CCU Baseball Pirates, who historically, high expectations, historically has played very well in recent years. So
especially in conference.
Especially in conference, no doubt about it. So a very controlling lead here, especially in North Carolina too, with UNC, Wilmington, App State, Charlotte, amongst many others.
It's good to be the best at baseball in the state. I love it.
And obviously they've been knocking on the door recently. They lost in the Super Regional to Vanderbilt last year, which was crushing for them and everything. But they're just so close to getting to that Omaha goal.
And I think a lot of people could agree with this. The first real test that ECU is going to have to face is when they see State for the first time.
Right.
And that's going to be a big one they're going to have to face. I expect we'll probably get Sam Highfill or one of their guys around that same level, and we'll have to deal with that. Who State's been playing incredibly well, especially at the end of the year. And now they're on a vendetta. They're on a revenge streak. So, my opinion, I think our first real test is going to be State when we see them for the first time in that one-game stand, and we're going to have to play up to that level.
Right.
So they got till March 29th when they play State to get it together, figure out how to work with the new rotation, with the 3 losses of people to the MLB. So we got some time. We're hosting here, get some home field play first. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. There you go. Anything else here on TECSpertZ, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm simply excited to talk about some wins.
Wins. We need wins. We need wins. We need wins.
Bring up the energy again.
Yeah, I mean, we were with ECU football. I mean, we were kind of on that upswing.
Basketball.
Then it kind of dipped down. Basketball, same thing. Trying to know at home. We're thinking, hallelujah. Let's pop the champagne, and now kind of right back down on that road again. And now we kind of want to go back on that upswing. So we'll see what happens here. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 18 in the books. I want to remind you all one more time, TECSpertZ is sponsored by the Big Vape Theory and East Carolina University's Office of Undergraduate Research. And TECSpertZ is a collaboration between WZMB and the East Carolinian, 2 powerhouses here at ECU. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it here with Markayla, Anthony, Max, and Brennan signing off. We'll see you next time.